Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of March 14th through the 20th. I apologize. I know I said I didn't expect to be late anymore, but I hadn't even attempted to do the reading on Friday. I didn't realize I would need to. Had every intention of doing it on Saturday, but ended up picking up a friend from the airport and driving her home to Jersey and then hanging out there. Spending some time with her. And then today I've been very busy about the business of social justice until like 15 minutes ago, literally. So I'm here, I'm jumping into it. I do apologize for those who look for some sort of schedule, dependable schedule. We're starting with the dice with weekend away, no, and spend money. And for those who worry about me, there's like people who, if the reading's not up by Sunday morning, they get concerned. I do appreciate it. Spirit says 29, spiritual partnership. Yes. And dirty movie. With the cards, we are beginning with Major Arcana card, the Fool, card number 0, which doesn't, I don't know which sign it most directly represents in accordance with the tarot. If I ever knew, I don't recall right now. But for me, it's very Aquarian, in terms of just marching to your own beat, perhaps, and doing your own thing, and taking a chance on yourself in terms of, that speaks of freedom, right? And the need to just sort of break out of maybe a norm and do what feels right to you. So that's super Aquarian, the way that I pick it up. This is also a very spiritual card, and it's a card of new beginnings. So there's a lot of things going on this week that are about new beginnings. Mercury enters Pisces. That's something I'll talk about after the cards, for those of you who want to stick around. The month of Shavat begins on the Hebrew calendar, which is also about newness, specifically as it relates to trees. It's considered the month of new trees. So spring, things are blossoming. What else? The new moon in Virgo that occurred on the 13th. There's a lot. Again, I'll talk about all those things after the cards for those of you who are interested. But we're beginning with this Fool. So it's not only is it about new beginnings, but it can also be specifically about new beginnings, like in a spiritual realm, a spiritual nature. So we did just see dice number the die 29, which is about spiritual partnership again. That can be romantic spiritual partnership, and talking about twin flames, divine unions, soulmates, or it can be like a business partnership or some other friendship, family members who together share some sort of belief system or practice, maybe doing yoga, a mom and daughter team, or whatever it is. And can be about taking a chance again on yourself, trusting in yourself and what you're feeling like you're guided to do, and going after it. But it does warn also, like there's like a caveat with it. It's not just all awesome, although it can be. The piece that we're guided to remember also when this card shows up is that, yes, leap, but look first. Like, it's not necessarily guiding you to just take a chance without thought, at all. Okay. Following that, we have not Major Arcana. We have the 7 of Cups, rather, and the 7 of Cups is about choices and goals and possibilities and options and all of those things. So again, this can be about the thought process of narrowing it down. What is it exactly that I'm going to do, or going through the pros and cons, and then making a decision that is like the best possible informed decision that you can make while still having faith and taking a chance on the unknown at the same time when it comes to the Fool. So with the Page of Wands also showing up here, this thing on which you may take a chance, or this person on whom you may take a chance, is perhaps a fire sign, right? A direct fire sign, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And or you could be revisiting something from your past, something that you started in your past, or you thought about starting in your past. Maybe you planned it all out in your head, or you set it as a goal, and you just haven't completed it, or maybe you haven't even revisited. Now could very well be when you're considering revisiting. And actually, I was going to talk to you. Maybe I'll add this to the end of the reading too, if I recall. I was going to talk to you. I meant to do it at the beginning about these songs that I was hearing over the weekend. That basically were also talking about newness and new beginnings, new partnerships. And I suppose they don't have to be romantic either. This could probably be in any realm also, but very possibly of a spiritual nature, since we're seeing not only cards but the dice to that effect. That were telling me to cut like the past, right? This is stuff that's like so new, and I think that there's a part of this that ties into the Jewish calendar also. So yeah, I'll definitely try to remember or to mention all these things when I talk about that. But cutting off these things from the past, or these, not necessarily the people, there are people involved, not necessarily cutting them off, but cutting off like the adverse effects and negative memories, or things that are associated with this thing or person, cutting all that off so that you can have a truly new start. And some things and or people may definitely be coming back into your life from the past for you to finish what you started and be successful at whatever that is, or with whomever that is. It could definitely be tied to work. The Three of Pentacles represents a worker energy, or energy of effort and being rewarded for that effort that you put in. And it often does tie directly to like career, although it doesn't have to be. This can be representative of effort you put into anything or anyone. And then again, reaping the rewards of that effort, it paying off for you. And the next card is, I was going to say the next card is in reverse. It's not in reverse. It's the Hangman upright. So this too is a card about, it's a very spiritual card for one thing, like I said about the Fool also, and is a card about letting go, particularly of negative emotions and things, and things that are holding you back, that are preventing you from new beginnings, keeping you from those new beginnings, stunting your growth, right? You're thinking about trees and growth. The King of Cups here, I was just about to say, though, that this could mean a lot, not only for everybody, but maybe more specifically earth signs, and thinking about trees and growth and earth energy. Also in conjunction with the year of the ox, which is like very Taurus or Taurian to me, and earth energy, all about like that Pentacles. So yeah, maybe it's for everybody, but then honing in some, like the earth signs may get an extra boost, and maybe of the earth signs, Taurus may even get, a little bit more of a boost. I would say Taurus, then Virgo, then Capricorn, in that order. But we have the King of Cups here. So this could be new beginnings in a romantic way, new beginnings in love, new beginnings with someone or something, like an energy that is very generous to you, and or romantic, and maybe helping you to open your heart, which that's one of the new beginnings that's associated with the Fool also. It's like opening your heart to a new beginning and just being ready to receive it all. And or a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces could also be particularly significant this week. And speaking of Pisces, Mercury enters Pisces this week. That's another thing that I'll talk about at the end of the month. At the end of the reading. And the next card finally is upside down. So I'm just going to toss these in here. And get them mixed up before shuffling them also and getting them even more mixed up. Just saw the Tower in reverse, which is another card that can be about spirituality. And last week, it was one of the cards that led me to believe that some of this some of us, we're going to be allowing our higher selves to sort of lead us around, maybe particularly in love. Speaking of love, we have the Knight of Cups here in reverse. Knight of Cups often for me, someone that is returning to your life, maybe an ex or something, for a brand new start. So it's not going to be like a continuation of our last relationship. You know, if it is tied to relationship, this is a brand new one. If it's about a career or a business, a job, that we're finishing something we started, there's going to be an aspect of newness to that too. So yeah, maybe you applied to work at this one place, but you were applying at the time to be a cashier, and instead you're going to, work in inventory. So it's a new job at this place, but it's also like the experience will be new and different from what it was in the past, even if you are revisiting it from the past. Ace of Wands. And this is another card about the past. I think on this note, this will be the last time that I shuffle. The Six of Cups is a soulmate card too. So it's often about exes. And again, returning to your life. Often tied to Mercury. Mercury is a card that's about siblings and things. Gemini energy is representative of siblings and stuff. And this card often for me is about children and siblings and things from our past as far as that's concerned. So there could be partnerships there, again, with your brother, with your sister. And this is often like memories and nostalgia brings up something from the past, and maybe that's how you end up revisiting it. But it also tells us to like be careful and not get stuck in the past. And I think that's what the songs were about. Like, again, cutting off all that stuff. That's not to suggest that you should, not hold on to your positive memories and things from the past, but like not to get stuck there. Even if you're going to be involved with somebody from your past and have a new relationship with them, let it be like a new relationship. And like decide to do that and stick to it, to not just keep getting stuck in the past and revisiting it. And then there's the Taurus energy that I was talking about. The Queen of Pentacles most directly represents the sign of Taurus in the tarot, but of course is representative of earth signs in general. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This can be about a decision. It's also about restoration, recovery. It can be about needing a break after, putting a lot of effort into something. This is so you can get your strength back, so to speak. So maybe you've been on a break, you've been away from something for, like I said, from a long time. Now you're going to revisit it from the past. And it may have to do with not only an earth sign, but maybe a career, a job, money, or you're receiving money from the past. Somebody's contacting you to notify you of an action. The controller of your state has found money for you, and you have to take an action. You have to go online to their website and fill out the form in order for that money to come to you. So it can be something like that too. The Knight of Wands, of course, and Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone like into those traits or attributes. The Ace of Swords, about new beginnings, often that are subsequent to difficult times. Like, right, what comes before the Ace of Swords? It's the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a card of betrayal and grief and sadness and hurt and separation and all that kind of stuff. But it's like the Ace shows up to say, like, you made it anyway. This is a card of victory. It's a card of truth, success, receiving information, new beginnings that are like grounded in truth. Very happy homes, families, households, news in that regard. Yeah, that's our overall energy. So now I'm going to pull 4 cards that we're really going to focus on or 6 cards that we're really going to focus on for the week. When I first started doing this spread, I guess about 9 months ago, I was doing 4 cards, and over the past couple weeks I've been doing physical and spiritual health. So it's 6 cards now. So this first card will most directly represent us over the week, all of us. And it is, 9 of Swords upright. That's not very exciting. Surrounding energy, co-workers, close friends, family members, romantic partners or interests. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a card of letting go of stuff from me. Or that guides us to let go of stuff. So that's positive. The third placement is work and finance. Page of Wands upright. So like I said, we could be revisiting a career, a job, an idea for a business, any of those things. Love and relationship. Whoa. The King of Cups. Doesn't get much better than that for that placement. Physical health. The King of Pentacles. Just as I had said, I was feeling. King of Pentacles in reverse. And this is often a card of spirituality. So I'm talking about physical health, but it could be sort of inspired by your spiritual health or frame of mind right now. And then spiritual health specifically. 5 of Swords. Interesting. And again, our overall energy was the 7 of Wands, which is all about defending your beliefs and decisions, standing your ground, not letting anybody push you around, making sure everything is in frame. So the 9 of Swords is a card that's about worry, anxiety, fear. For me, it can really, even enter that area of mental health and illness to varying degrees. So it can be something about, maybe this week we're having trouble remembering to take our meds, or we miss therapy or something, and or something triggers us, and so we're having, there's a potential for it to have a bad week. We don't have to have a bad week though, right? Because we can work on that. Pay attention to your breathing, or maybe do some other things that will help people to sort of regather themselves and to calm down. Maybe using like some lavender or something in your bath or shower. These sort of calming things. Drinking tea, all of that are other ways of protecting yourself against the feeling of anxiety or fear, like whatever makes you feel comforted. Also, if you have the mind to do it, or the ability to do it at the time, if you can try to focus on figuring out like what is at the root of it, like what is causing you to feel this way. Sometimes we just feel all of a sudden like we feel shaky and panicky and we don't really know why. In those cases, again, I would just suggest that you work on like comforting yourself. But if you're able, trying to figure out, like taking a good look at the situation or scenario or yourself and trying to figure out like, what is maybe at the root, and if it has to do with like a relationship or a situation, like what, if anything, about the relationship or situation can be changed to make it something that is healthy for you, that you're able to deal with, if anything. And it may mean, again, letting go and leaving something behind. Like I said, when I was hearing the songs or whatever, they spoke to me, and it's songs of all different genres. They spoke to me about a few things, but one of the things was about like letting go, like as I mentioned before, of the past, and now we see it playing out in the cards. It can be scary to let go of things from the past, or to let go of relationships that should have been left in the past, or situations that should have been left in the past, rather than hold on to them. That can be scary on its own, and that may be what some of us are dealing with here. This card also for me can come across as representing like a feeling, a thought, a sentiment about ourselves that like we're not good enough, whether that's for another person or for a specific situation, a job, a career, whatever, or in general, like, I should be more. My life should be bigger than this now, by this time point or whatever. And that can be what's causing this to come on. And when that is the case, then the card directs us to looking for comfort, take comfort or look for comfort and joy in the everyday things of life, like maybe new trees, the fact that you woke up in the morning, you're breathing, you're healthy. A lot of people around, in your city, your state, the nation, whatever country you live in, the world, are not healthy right now, right? Whether they're suffering from COVID or something else. There's a lot of people who would like to trade places with you. And so sometimes that can be comforting when, like, we sort of bring ourselves back to earth when we think about these things. So moving on to the next placement of surrounding energy. So this can be things dealing with coworkers, close friends, family members, romantic interests or partners, again, the people and the things around us. And this card is about holding on to these things, to people, to money, to situations, like, in a way that is not healthy for us, and or for our peace of mind. So, like I said, they can definitely be, joined, like they're showing up in tandem, possibly for some of us, and it just like tells us like to relax and remember that we have like no control over what others choose to do. We don't even have control over everything in our own life. Like, some stuff is based on karmic energy. We have control over our actions and our reactions to, people, places, and things. And that's it. But at the same time, that's plenty. That's a lot, right? So it's about remembering that we have free will, all of that. And other people have free will too. So you could be holding on to somebody, they may have let you go a long time ago, and you have no control over that. You have control over your reaction to it, which is, okay, at one point had been you holding on to them, and now maybe it's come a time where you need to let go of them, or at least, again, let go of the adverse effects of the situation, negative emotions and memories and things like that of the situation. The good news, though, is that when the card is reversed, like it is for us today, that, the person experiencing it most directly can be moving quickly through this sort of fear-based need to be clingy and to hold on to things that are not helpful to them. Suddenly they may just be more open, like I was talking about, the open heart and willing to take a chance and all that kind of stuff. More generous, like the King of Cups. More interested in learning about something new or whatever. And more aware, more conscious and cognizant of the fact that worry and fear just doesn't serve us. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't solve any problems or whatever. I've mentioned many times before, my mother always taught me, this thing: if you pray, don't worry. If you worry, don't pray. It's like, and praying, as I've described to you, is the same thing as a focused intention. So it's like, if you're manifesting and you're making a focused intention, you have control over what you draw toward yourself, and whether it's positive or negative, and you're confident in that. If you know that that's true, you believe in the law of attraction, then worrying doesn't solve us. Fear doesn't serve us. Fear doesn't serve us. So that could be the negative emotion of which we need to let go. The fear, the worry itself. Moving on to work and finance in the Page of Wands. So, as I mentioned, in general, the page is often an actual person in our life, and maybe a direct fire sign, and it is supposed to be a female. It doesn't look like one at all to me in the card, but in traditional practice, tarot practice, the Page of Wands is meant to be a female who may be younger or more youthful than ourselves, and the wands are about movement, growth, ambition, and it's a fire element. This is a warm sentiment, right? It's a positive energy. If it's not an actual person, then it represents like the energy of, again, action. So news of some sort of action or opportunity to take action could be coming your way. It can also be warning about like becoming easily distracted, and it guides us to try to remain focused. But I just talked about focused intention. So it could definitely be coming into play with these other two cards, focus intention, maybe with regard to what you're trying to manifest in your area specifically of work and or finance. And letting go of any negative thoughts about that situation, about that placement, about your relationship with money. Specifically about work, somebody may be particularly helpful to you. Again, this person may specifically be a female, younger, and or a youthful kind of energy, a fiery kind of energy, a warm energy. And or if you're unemployed, for example, and you've been awaiting, or even if you're employed, sometimes we're looking to move into another area. If you're waiting for any kind of decision about employment, or about a job that you've applied for or something, this is an indication that the news is going to be good. Remember and we saw the Six of Wands, we saw these other cards of success and positivity, the Ace of Swords. So it's like maybe previously we'd been unsuccessful, we'd experienced hurt and pain, like the Ten of Swords, behind our lack of work or our underemployment. Maybe we're employed but we're underemployed, our low income, and we've experienced, and now we're awaiting a decision for betterment, for improvement in that situation, in that area, and we're likely to be successful and to receive that, based on the cards we looked at before, and of course our Page of Wands specifically. And if it's about like a new job or a new position, even if it's from the same place, this job is also likely to be better for you. Like you're better suited for this one, and it may even be like enjoyable to you. Like when you like your work, you like your job. Sometimes some people are lucky enough to have that, and that could be you this week. Just far better than you could have hoped. Also specific to finances, it's a positive card, money, or opportunities to obtain money, to acquire it, to have it come to you on the upswing when this comes up. And something or something that maybe you put into the world in the past, again, in terms of that focus intention, in terms of manifestation, in terms of karma, in terms of good karma, good energy that you put out in the past, could very well be returning to you. I mentioned a situation like that, for example, for myself last week, when I talked about the clients for whom I had performed energy work for free, that when they were able, they paid me for it. I had been happy to do it without the payment, and then when they were able to do it, to make that payment, they took it upon themselves. So that was my good energy, my good karma, my positivity, like paying it forward to these other people, being returned to me. So when I talked about something coming back from the past or returning to you, it could be in that way too. This is also a good time to like start planning, like a long term. You're young, you're 19, you're 20, and what do I want to do when I grow up, sort of thing. This is a good time to figure that out, and to look out into the future, in terms of where you want to be, what you hope to be doing, and maybe specifically financially, since this is the work and finance placement, 20, 30 years, what type of life you plan to be living. And maybe then you can think about, and Seven of Cups could be coming back into play too, goals and dreams in that regard, in terms of making that a reality in the future. And now moving on to love and relationship. The King of Cups is an awesome energy, very balanced, masculine and feminine energies, coming together. Positive qualities of both the masculine and the feminine archetypes, all the best of each archetype. And it's often an actual person, and maybe specifically male, an actual man in your life. Um, in fact, it usually represents some sort of live person, and he's, very kind and loving and maybe romantic, again, generous. And when the card shows up, whether it's about an actual person in your life or not, it's to say that you are supported by the universe in ways that are very obvious and seen, and ways that are not, and unseen. There's a part of the was it the Apostles' Creed, also sometimes known as the Nicene Creed. We say, yeah, I believe in all that is seen and unseen, and that's what I think about sometimes when I look at the King of Cups. Specific to love, as I mentioned before, very, very positive card, and there are not more that are more, there are a few that are more, but possibly more loving than the King of Cups. It's like one of the best ones that we could get in this area. If we're looking for love, it can be that someone who is this way, very balanced, very generous, very loving, very romantic, heading our way soon. And if we're already in some sort of relationship, that it's just going to get more generous, more loving, more romantic, and the love will be deepening. So super positive. Moving on to physical health and the King of Pentacles in reverse. So in the most general sense, this card is about us, like, maybe wanting to identify ourselves based on our successes and accomplishments in life, rather than, all the value that we have. Maybe we don't even realize all the value that we add to the world, or to a particular, person or group of people's lives. We just feel like, yeah, our work represents our worth, and the material gains from it represents our worth, and the money. Actually, one of the songs that I received a message through was Sheila E.'s song "Glamorous Life." Without love, it ain't much. She wanted the money, she wanted this and that, and it's just like, okay. I think one of the lines is, "Money only pays the rent." So it's something like that's not where your true value lies. So specific to health, physical health, this can be telling us that if our health can be improved by, like, letting these negative emotions go, maybe even by talking about them, by venting to someone if we need to, maybe a King of Cups, right? That's not necessarily our romantic partner or interest, but somebody who would, is open and balanced and show us love and compassion and empathy. That could be who we want to spill our guts to, and, about some sort of negative situation or person. Also, again, it really guards us against thinking negatively about ourselves, or thinking like negative speak about ourselves, like we're a failure because we haven't met certain goals or whatever, that we set. And this could, again, the Seven of Cups again could be coming into play, and certainly the Nine of Swords, the worry, and that could be attached to also fear and regret. I'm not as successful as I wanted to be. I've talked about earth signs before. Capricorn, known as the workhorse of the zodiac, right? Taurians and Virgos, they all have, like, such tremendous work ethic, and I know some personally, and then some earth sign males specifically, very masculine, who, it's like, my ex, I'll use him because I know him the best and the longest. We've known each other over 30 years now at this point. It's my first real boyfriend. He just is always acquiring stuff, and he's a success. He's basically worked for the same company since he was like 16 years old. He turned 50 this year, in September, and he's been moved around. He's been moved to, other states for work. He's been promoted, obviously. He's a big deal at the place he works. He's got cars, he's got convertibles and roadsters and drop tops and a house and a boat and stuff. And I don't know if he's ever like patted him. Not you have to pat yourself in the back. I was going to use that expression, but just really taking a moment to say, like, okay, I did it. I reached those goals. I'm so proud of myself. Right? I hit the milestone or any of that. Like, no, he just keeps going and going and going. And, those particularly earth signs, and that's why it shows up as the king of earth, of pentacles, can sometimes take it even a step further and down talk themselves despite all their successes, and the rest of us standing there looking at them in awe, like, I should be so hardworking as you. And they don't recognize at all that just how awesome they are. And they do this, negative talk, negative thoughts. And then we end up like this. Then we end up like this with the 9 of Swords. So it warns against like getting those feelings out. Maybe you want to talk to an actual therapist, psychologist, a friend, your mate, or a romantic partner. A relative, and this can be what the spiritual partnerships card is about too. Like I said, this card could definitely be about health, but delve into the spiritual aspects as well. And maybe it will be somebody to whom you are attached or meant to be attached romantically in a spiritual way, as I mentioned before, twin flames, soulmates, that with whom you talk, or that may inspire you, that may help a masculine this week, or some masculine this week, to awaken, to grow like trees, the earth sign. New trees sprouting. And then they're looking for new, higher consciousness and deeper understandings of things. Which segues nicely into the 5 of Swords, because in a general sense, the 5 of Swords can be about feeling conflicted, mixed feelings in general about people, places, things, whatever, situations. And we're supposed to pay attention to these feelings when we have them. I don't know. I just, something about him or her just doesn't sit right with me. Okay, pay attention to that. Or about this situation, I don't feel so cool here. I'm getting a bad vibe about this place. Okay, pay attention to that. Right? It also sort of warns us that although we're paying attention to these things, to not to necessarily voice, speak every word or thing that we're thinking or feeling, especially if it's about something that we desire or something that we're working toward, a relationship, a situation, because those words and those thoughts, if we just blur, like word vomit, as my daughter used to call it when she was younger, just blurt them out, sometimes we could ruin the things that we want the most. And sometimes we do it just by speaking to the wrong person, right? By putting things out there into the universe before they have time to manifest, and somebody, their energy will conflict with yours. They'll be jealous, they'll be whatever, and they'll, throw salt on your game. And that's why I tell people also, you guys have heard me say, like, don't announce it until like it's already in motion, or it's already happened, you already been successful. So it can be like that too. So in considering all those sorts of things, and now moving in specifically into the spiritual realm, the 5 of Swords can be about maybe suddenly, we've gotten spiritual, answers and understanding and clarity about something. Like I was saying about potentially the King of Pentacles. And maybe we've been looking for these answers our whole life, and then boom, this week something happens. Someone helps us to get there, or something's inspiring and helps us to get this clarity. And we could be super excited about it. But it's like, also, we don't necessarily have to voice that to anybody else. Remember that those are your answers, right? They're not necessarily everybody else's answers. And we don't need to try to convert anyone else to our answers, to acceptance of our answers, to our way of thinking. Conversely, so the opposite, the Five of Swords can also tell us that we're going to take a break. Like the Four of, maybe this is tied to the Four of Swords that also popped up before. Take a break, to sever, to drop, maybe even some sort of spirituality, some sort of ideal belief system maybe that we had that no longer works for us. We are going to let it go because it no longer works for us. It can even be talking about a mate, a past mate, a potential mate who you thought was your soul mate, who you thought was your twin flame. I have a realization as of this week, I was wrong. Dropping that, letting that go. And that may cause fear, pain, worry. What happens when I let this person go? What happens when I let this belief system I've been having for, maybe 4 or 5, 6 years? Somebody reminded me the other day that it was my 5-year anniversary on YouTube, March 10th. So that's how long I've been talking to people about divine unions, about twin flames and all those things. So some of us have been actually experiencing it since then or before then, longer than that, 10 years, 15 years. What happens when I let that go now? That could be what's bringing about this fear here. But our overall energy says what? That we should not be afraid, and maybe even we should not hesitate to set folks straight, to let people know where we stand, to be clear about our thinking, or to let them know that we're clear in our thinking. I know what I'm saying. I said what I meant. I said what I said. I feel this way. You're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to allow you to. I'm not going to argue with you. We're not going to fight. I'm choosing my battles also. And then to tie in with the rest of it, one of the other things the Seven of Wands says is any sort of competitive situation, right? Maybe something tied to the Five of Swords that we find ourselves in, debate, argument, whatever, we are likely to come out on top. Also, like the Six of Wands suggested. So, again, things should be going well. We should be feeling good about ourselves and the projects and things we're working on and our relationships and all of that by the end of the week, right? Because again, this is the Nine of Swords is our overall card. And even when we're feeling better, based on our overall energy, it says that even with that, we still may have, regular, maybe even consistent moments of self-doubt, of lack of faith, of low self-esteem, insecurity, lack of confidence. But the best thing you can do, if you can't let go of the fear, is to just work through it. Feel the fear and do it anyway, as a saying from somewhere goes. I wanted to talk to you guys about the Mercury and Pisces and all the other things. But it looks like this reading is at like 40 minutes and I don't want it to become too long for me to just upload directly to YouTube. So I think I won't. Maybe I'll try to squeeze it into the love reading. I apologize again. I know I started apologizing. I'm finishing off apologizing. Do like, share, subscribe, comment. I try to respond to everybody with the comments. Questions that they have for me. Also, when you're subscribing, please hit both the subscribe button and the bell button so that hopefully you receive notifications when I put up a new video. Namaste, guys.